Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and today is Friday, August 24th and this is the search news we've covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable, SERoundtable.com over the past week. First up, maybe another Google search algorithm update going on. It potentially started around August 22nd, Wednesday. So a lot of the tools have noticed that date as the day of when it started happening. But I haven't really noticed much chatter outside of it starting late yesterday into this morning where there's some chatter starting. It's very limited chatter. And so forth. Just so you know, I'm not sure if obviously it's related to the Google Medic update or maybe they're doing some type of tweak to that algorithm or if it's something new. The chatter is pretty limited right now, not much going on, but a lot of the tools do show signs of it flaring up on the 22nd of August. As you can see here, some show it depends on obviously when they're running these tests and when they're gathering this data. Interesting part, again, the Black Hat forums are pretty quiet about it. I'm not seeing that much chatter, but I guess we'll see over time, seeing what SEOs are saying to see if this was big or not. Google has not yet commented on this. I'm not sure if I should ask them to comment on it. I don't ask them to comment on every update, so let me know what you think and definitely let me know about this update. Google said on the Medic update, they talked about it internally, about how they should give SEOs and webmasters advice about this specific update. They're not calling it the Medic update. They call it a core broad search update, which affects everything. And again, it didn't just affect medical and health, yada, 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 but it definitely did seem to have more of an impact in that region, which is why we called it the Medic update. Sorry. Not sleeping much. In any event, Google did say they actually did look into this to see what type of advice they could give webmasters, and the advice they're giving is, again, it's nothing really they could do, just keep making your sites better, yada, yada, yada. So, but they did think about it, so that's nice. And Google also said, and this is Gary from Google, who's a little bit more, straightforward, but this is according to Pedro, who interviewed Gary at a conference, specifically a conference in Brazil, and he said that Gary said on the August 1st algorithm update wasn't designed specifically to target health or your money, your life websites. It was just a happy coincidence, he said, and it also impacted that vertical. Again, Google's not saying it was targeted. Basically, he's not saying it was specific to that, and he's not saying it actually did impact that. He's saying what people are saying probably is interesting, and he's happy about it, I guess. That's what he's saying. Again, Gary didn't say it. He may have said it himself. That's Pedro saying that's what he said on stage. Google, there are some reports of a Medic update recoveries. I'm not sure if this is the case. I find it hard to believe, to be honest. I think maybe the people that saw some type of negative impact on their websites around August 1st maybe were impacted by something else. Google's constantly tweaking stuff. But in any event, there are some reports of people recovering from the Google Medic update. Take it with a grain of salt. Also from that Brazilian conference where Pedro interviewed Gary, Pedro said that Gary said he confirmed that while algorithms like Panda collect information at the page level, but act on the host level, algorithms like Penguin collect and also act on the page level. So that's basically saying, let me explain this. Panda will look at a page-by-page basis and then give an aggregate score, I guess, on the host level to the website. So the whole website will be impacted by the negativity of specific pages on the website. Penguin, on the other hand, looks at a page-by-page basis, but only impacts the site not on a whole, but on a page-by-page basis. So a specific page will be impacted by a bad Penguin score, whatever you want to call it, whereas a bunch of bad Panda scores across multiple pages could impact the site level or the host level, which is an interesting thing. Again, it's not new. We knew this, but it's just another way of explaining it. This is really great. I'm really happy about this. Google Analytics, Google announced that they will automatically verify site owners of Google Analytics properties within Google Search Console. Basically, if you are a Google Analytics owner and you aren't at all right now verified with Google Search Console, you'll get an email in the upcoming weeks. Some people have gotten it already, saying, hey, you're now verified with Google Search Console, which you can actually learn more about your website. The email looks like this. Google Search Console in collaboration with Google Analytics. And then it basically, which Google searches show for my site. Basically said this verification now allows you to your Google Analytics account to import Google Search data. Again, this is great because there's a lot of people who have, lots and lots of people who have Google Analytics that don't have Google Search Console, not the other way around. And because of that, this is actually giving more and more people access to very important data, not just search query data and impression data and errors and crawl issues. But more importantly, Google sends out alerts to webmasters that have issues with their websites, big issues, hacks and stuff like that through Google Search Console. And it will do that only if you're verified. And this is now going to go ahead and probably verify lots and lots of people that never heard of Google Search Console in the first place with Google Search Console access, which is great. Google launched this week in the new Google Search Console, the beta Google Search Console, the link report. They kind of aggregated a bunch of reports into one. You could access it now, I believe. Go to the new Google Search Console, and you get access to the external links, top links, etc. Here's a link. Look at the report. So it has external links, the top links to your pages, the top linking sites, and the top linking text, similar to the previous report, as well as internal links and so forth. So you could access that information as well. Google did say on that specifically the report is actually showing different data than the old report. The new link report is more accurate, according to Google, than the old link report in the old engine. Specifically me, it shows that I have about 10,000 additional links in the new report than I didn't have in the old report. Also, Google actually's help document says, and I quoted this last time, data in this report is more accurate than the old links report. As a result, the values in the new report may be lower, but this does not indicate a drop in links, but rather a more accurate and secure way of reporting them. I asked Google why, what's different, what's new about this report, why is it more accurate, and John Mueller didn't know why, but he said it is more accurate, and you can trust them on that. And it's not that you'll just see a drop in links, you may see an increase in links, you might not see any change in links. But it doesn't impact your rankings per se, it's just a different way of reporting those links. One of the biggest complaints about the new link report is that it doesn't have the download latest links button. That is coming according to John Mueller, so don't worry, it's still there in the old interface, but it will be coming to the new interface. Old interface, new interface. The Google Search Console URL inspection tool shows more recent data than the indexing report in the Google Search Console. The indexing report in the Search Console usually is about a week or two back in terms of data because it has to aggregate data and then put in a report, whereas the indexing URL inspector tool actually shows you the most recent from the last crawl. So it's usually about a week or two ahead of that indexing report. That's something to keep in mind. Again, nothing new, but again, there's important facts that you guys should be aware of. There is a possible bug with the Google Search Performance Report when you actually use the query filter. So if you add a query filter and plug in a branded search like your branded name, instead of it's leveling out, sometime around August, I think 14th, 18th, sorry, you'll see it actually drop off significantly over here on 18th when you plug in the query filter. It's not clear why. Google is looking into it. We'll see what happens with that. Google, some conversation this week. I definitely like talking about this. Basically, we want an automated action viewer. By that I mean Google knows. You can ask Googlers, and they have access to what's called a penalty viewer. We covered this several years ago, where we had a screenshot from one of the Googlers, I guess, bookmarks of a Google penalty server, where they actually look up if a specific site has any of the algorithmic penalties, like Panda, Penguin, etc. And we know they have access to that. We know Google has often told people they had issues with around Penguin or Panda, so they know when websites are impacted by certain algorithms. Back in, I think, 2013, I think I suggested building an automated action viewer. I suggested again multiple times after that, and now we're bringing it up again. Google should build a Google algorithm action viewer. I know it causes issues with spammers. It causes issues with people focusing on the wrong things. It's not going to happen. Google told us it may happen back in 2014. Then a few months later said, no, it's probably not going to happen. But technically it could happen. The question is how? How do they implement that? Again, it's not on their radar, but I definitely think we should keep bugging Google to do that. Google said if you're doing an HTTPS migration from HTTP to HTTPS, you should definitely use 301 redirects. They strongly recommend 301 redirects, not 303s, not 302s. Use 301s. Google says we do not favor fresh content. Of course, there's the whole thing about QDF and what's trending and stuff like that. But specifically about ranking core pages, Google said they do not favor fresh content over old content. Google Analytics has released a blog post, pulled a blog post. The blog post is kind of still live, depending on how you get to it. Basically showing you when we reported, I think about a few weeks ago, that Google image search is going to change their refer URL so that Google Analytics and other analytics tools could actually show you what image traffic you're getting from organic search. Now Google Analytics is showing you that it's grouping it under, so you have Google Organic, now you have Google Images Organic. I actually see some of this data in my reports right now. I think it's slowly rolling out. They're testing it, and probably within the next few weeks, you'll actually see it live fully in Google Analytics and any other tools you use to track your analytics. The Google indexing API is not coming anytime soon. Right now, it's only used for the job posting URLs, which we reported back a few months ago. But the indexing API, which is a way of getting content into Google faster, is only for the job posting URLs. It's not coming to other ways or any other methods to get your content indexed in Google. Google is testing another image search design. Here's one with the overlay. So here, if you go to Google Image Search, you can see there's an overlay. When you click on an image, it shows you an overlay preview. Here's one from earlier in the week showing on the right-hand panel. And this is what we typically see, just a black bar under it. It looks like the reserve with Google, the ability to reserve book appointments, make appointments, reserve tables, or whatever it might be, has expanded. You can see the partner page is way more detailed than it was back when it had like 5 partners. So that's interesting to see. So that's good. That's a Google My Business local feature. You can now search Google for what is my user agent, and it will tell you what your user agent is in Google. So here's a screenshot of that. This is upsetting a lot of digital agencies, specifically search marketing agencies in the paid search realm. I'm sorry. Basically, this person over here, David Mim, shared a PDF that was on a publisher's website that basically says this is a letter of recommendation from Google. They're part of the agency program. This is a Googler writing this on behalf, supposedly a Googler writing this on behalf of an agency, saying you should hire them because they're great. They're amazing. And here's a letter of recommendation for them. When this came out, the agency removed the letter of recommendation. It's not unclear if that Googler wrote it, if the Googler was fired for writing it, if it never happened at all. It's unclear. But I'm curious if other digital agencies actually received letter of recommendations from Google. It's the first time I'm ever hearing that in all my years of covering search, which is interesting. And finally, the Google Assistant hopes to cheer you up with good news. All you got to do is say, hey, tell me something good, and Google will actually give you some news that is good news. It's curated by the Solution Journalism Network, which curates content from a bunch of publishers that try to highlight good news so people are happier. And people don't focus just on the bad news, but all the good news that is happening out there in the world. In any event, thanks so much for listening to the Search Box Video Recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz. This is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at SERoundtable.com. Everyone have a great weekend. Again, today is Friday, August 24th. Everyone have a great weekend. I'll see you guys next. So just a note, I will be somewhat on vacation the next Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but I hope to be publishing some content on every day. Everyone have a great weekend. I'll see you guys next week.